So for the upcoming Quest Wednesdays, the theme is straight acting. How does it affect you? So, Mr. Brady, what would you like to say about that?
Yeah, I started to think about how when I've been straight acting, actually. And I went right back to when I was a teenager. And there's this kind of weird paradox was happening at that time because I was actually straight acting having a girlfriend. So it was real full on acting. I was like taking her to a pub and doing all that stuff. And it felt really nice just to be like everyone else. But it was pure acting. I knew it wasn't real. And after her, then it all ended. I didn't go out with girls anymore. So I had this full on 360-degree experience of acting as I was straight. And at the same time, I remember if I saw a group of boys walking towards me and I was walking the other way, I would cross the road to avoid them because I knew they would be able to tell by the way I was walking that I was gay. So I knew that I kind of looked gay, but at the same time, I had this role of acting like I was straight. And I think my observation of this is at that time, which is going back into the early 80s, or even late 70s, it was really, I think straight acting was very much about passing as straight in order to blend in. I think these days, my observation of straight acting is that it's to do with sexual prowess. To be straight, to be a straight man is the ultimate in sex, and it's all formed out of this very sexist hierarchical system. But straight acting now is used by men to be seen to be attractive to other gay men. I think it's not as often the case that they're trying to pass. I think they know they're gay, but they think they're more sexy if they're straight acting. So you see a lot of it on Grinder, etc., straight acting and the image and all the rest of it. So I think it's kind of changed. And I think for myself, it's like these days, I don't, well, even probably from my mid-20s onwards, I think I just let go of a lot of that idea of how can I make myself more straight. The last thing I would say is what I'm really pleased about is the queer movement, because the queer movement, to my mind, is the antithesis of straight acting. It's like we don't even fall within that normal kind of heteronormative structure. So it's not about male and female. It's like we're queer, like adopting otherness, which I think is a wonderful kind of place to be situated. So I love that as an antidote to the straight acting, which I just is very confining and very much based on shame.
Mm.
Those are my initial thoughts, and I'm curious how does it sit for you?
Wow, what you just shared is so rich, actually. I'm not sure it's changed that much. I think we as individuals, many of us have grown and maybe have learned how to navigate it. But I think that underlying shame piece that you just mentioned, I'm not sure that has changed that much. I think the younger generation are certainly reclaiming the opposite of straight acting, whatever that might be. It's like reclaiming the queer movement. But I think there is still that stickiness around shame, not just for me, us as gay society, but also as the so-called straight world. And the reason that I say this was I remember a couple of years ago, I think I shared this with you at the time. Someone had put us in touch with a practitioner from the US and she wanted to do some work with us. So I met up with her and she was this well-respected practitioner. And we had this great talk. It was really wonderful. And as we were leaving, walking to the station, I remember saying to me, "Oh, I'd be really happy to take you to meetings with me because you're not camp like gay men that I know." And even as I say it, I can feel myself get hot. And and I felt shame. In fact, I didn't say anything back to her. I froze because I just couldn't, my brain couldn't blend with this educated, liberal, together, open-minded woman saying, "Oh, I am I am not camp like gay men that she knows. So that's one story that comes to mind. The other story that comes to mind was I remember a few months ago I met up, maybe about a year ago actually. I met up with a friend who knew me round about the time I came out, a colleague, and she said, "Oh, you're not as camp as you used to be," and 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 I just went into shame. I went into shame and like, oh, was I that camp? And I remember I've seen some videos of myself where I'm throwing my hands about and moving my hand. And I think now I've learned to embrace that as part of who I am. But I can't help but feel that voice that is still there going, ooh, you're not straight acting. You're less than. You're not part of the tribe that belongs. And I think for me, there probably is still that residue that's there. Because when I look at guys that I've dated in the past, I've not really dated people who are out of that straight acting camp. And I suspect there probably is some internalized homophobia that I carry that is certainly still there actually. Like if I was with a partner who was so-called not straight acting and we're walking down the street, what's my internal dialogue going to be? I suspect I still have a lot of work to do around that, and for me it is that shame and internalized homophobia, and I feel
Yeah.
very hot right now.
Yeah, it's insidious, isn't it? I think it's insidious. It can be subtle as we get older, but it's still there. That kind of stickiness of shame. Yeah, yeah. It's a difficult subject, but it's very relevant. I'm looking forward to the group getting together and talking about it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. It's going to be very revealing.